jackets at the school upper campus. Please apply. Been begging for 5 years now. Yes.
Okay, so I'm Paige Jaffet, and we have 3 kids here. We've been here 3 years. So we've had Miss Starnes, we've had some wonderful teachers. But I paid my re-enrollment thinking that I was going to be going to NBCA, and I'm not next year. And I want to know from the board that if we decide not to come back, will we be reimbursed 100%? Because y'all threw us a curveball. We want our money back if we decide to pull our kids from the school. Did you do it strategically that after we all paid, then you were going to fire him? Because that's how it feels right now. And do you have signed contracts from the teachers that you make walk on eggshells every day? Do you know they're going to come back? And how, I mean, these teachers give our kids everything they have. I wouldn't come back as a teacher and work for you if I had to walk on eggshells for months. I wouldn't do it. Oh, 30 days, I'm sorry, 30 days. I want to know, will we be refunded as parents if we decide to pull all of our kids? This was strategic.
I think the first thing I need to say is that the last thing this was strategic, not even close. The last thing on my mind or anybody else's was maliciousness at all. I did everything in my power to allow Mr. West to stay, period. I tried everything that I could. So my point is very simple. My point is very simple. This whole situation is like, or the teachers' professional improvement plans and the like, it's like this was about doing our absolute best to care for those in our charge as we were striving towards excellence. That's the reality of the situation. It's like, that's what we're trying to do. So there was no maliciousness whatsoever. And as for the board, please allow me to give this to Mike.
So on the refund, the policy is those are not refundable, right? That's the policy. Now, we need to take that up for consideration and just tell you that that's the policy right now. I'm not going to go against policy right now on the spot. That's unreasonable for me, actually. What's that? Just the 200. The 200, yeah. The 200 is non-refundable. What's that?
So what Mike's saying is policy would be right now that every bit of what you paid outside of the 200 could be refunded, but given the current situation, certainly we would take into consideration refunding the rest, but that's not a spot decision that we're going to make or vote on as a board right now. But policy would be, sure, you get refunded outside of the 200 non-refundable. That's just current policy.
We're doing a lot of this in that exact same evaluation. We're making a big decision. What we do, where we stay shareholders and spend a large amount of money to be here. With teachers we know that want to be here. Or we decide to go somewhere else.
I agree.
And that's why all these teachers.
I didn't speak about the signed contracts, forgive me. Currently, we have 98% of our team that have signed contracts for next year. So 98% they're already signed, and they're coming back for next year. 98%. So that's the good news. So right now, we have 98% of our team coming back for next year.
That's what he says. He's bad enough.
Yeah, I would say. Yes, ma'am. 7 were signed today. Yeah, we have. This is Texas. This is at will. But the point is, we had 7 signed today. So we have 2 more team members, 3 more team members completely in the entire system to be able to sign their contracts.
12 to 14, 20.
So I run and operate 5 different businesses. Okay, like. And I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I've had to let go of assistants that were very well liked by my other employees, and it is hard. It's so hard. And then
I just kept thinking about the verse that says a soft answer turns away wrath. And so, Dr. Graham, I'm actually going to give you kudos because you've stood here and taken it, and as you've been walking by, I've seen tears in your eyes. And that speaks a lot to your character, so I'm going to give you that. Okay? I am. I'm going to give you that. Thank you. Because that's hard. I would like to give 3 solutions, though, where I think you guys can do better, because everybody's talking about problems, and I want to give solutions. Number 1, I think you guys can do a way better job at communication.
Yes, thank you.
Totally. Okay, I think you could have had a meeting with parents only at the other campus, only parents, without Mr. West, and you could have, like, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of said, this is what we're looking to do, this is the vision, and some of these people aren't making the cut. And I think you wouldn't have such shocked people, because we're all shocked. Second of all, what I think you guys could do is, I was going to say that, but then it was brought up first, is y'all, like, so if we're taking biblical perspective, the man's the provider for the family, and the women's, they're the nurturers. I mean, if you think about it, we're really the ones that make our children. I mean, you know what I'm saying? From 0 to 5, we're there. We pour our hearts and soul into our kids, and there's nothing more than carrying that precious life in your belly. Okay? Y'all need some women on this board. Because maybe some decisions would have been made differently if there would be women on the board, because we think different than men. We look at things in a completely different way. And I love my husband very much, but he looks at things in a different way. And sometimes we just got to get out our emotional, and then we can be logical. There's times I can't be logical until I get out my emotional. Agreed, women? You know, because we're mama bears here, so we're like, you know, I mean, we're ready for blood. And so my second suggestion is getting women on the board. And then my third suggestion is for you really to try to connect with the parents and the kids next year. Because it is hard. I mean, how do you explain it to a 7 and a 5-year-old? I mean, my little girl just turned 5, right? And I mean, you know, she's in Miss Hendricks' class. I mean, how do you explain it to them? The little ones that this is affecting, it's much harder for them to understand it than your 11-year-old. So I just wanted to give those 3 things that I think you guys could do better, just as solutions.
First of all, thank you for your suggestions. Communication is absolutely one of the areas we can improve. We've been through the gamut of opportunities to communicate to parents. 3 years ago,